There's a moment in every man's life when he realizes style isn't about adding more, it's about knowing what matters. At 50, you've lived enough to understand that confidence doesn't come from a logo, and elegance doesn't need noise. It's the way you shake a hand, the watch that has shared your mornings, the belt that's held its shape as long as you've held your standards. Accessories, at this stage, aren't decoration, they're punctuation. Small details that finish your presence the way silence finishes a great song. They tell the world, I've refined my life, and now, everything I wear has purpose. In this episode, we'll explore 5 timeless accessories every man over 50 should own. Not to impress, but to express that quiet kind of power that only comes with experience. Because when your life becomes more defined, your style should follow. Welcome back to Legacy Style, where experience becomes elegance. A man's relationship with time changes after 50. In your 20s, you chase it. In your 30s, you fight it. But in your 50s, you start to understand it. You realize that time isn't an enemy to be defeated. It's a companion that's walked beside you through every victory, every loss, every quiet morning. That's why the watch on your wrist matters, not as a display of wealth, but as a reflection of how you value your time. A good watch doesn't shout for attention. It earns it in silence. It's not about the brand name, or the size of the case, or the sparkle under the light. It's about balance, proportion, presence. When you reach this age, you no longer need to prove anything. Your watch should echo that same calm assurance, refined, timeless, quietly powerful. A simple dial with a clean face, hands that glide instead of tick, a strap that feels lived in rather than new. Leather if you're classic, steel if you're grounded. Either way, it should feel like an extension of you. Because a watch at this stage isn't there to measure seconds, it's there to mark moments. The dinner with your son, where he finally spoke to you as a man. The quiet weekend you spent in a city that used to rush you, and now just feels slow enough. The early morning coffee before the world wakes up. That's when you look at your wrist and think, yes, this is my time. And when people notice it, they don't see the watch first. They see the man behind it, the way he carries himself, the steadiness in his gestures. Because elegance after 50 is never about the object. It's about the attitude it reveals. You don't need a collection. You need 1 or 2 pieces that mean something. A mechanical timepiece that ticks with purpose. A slim dress watch that slips under the cuff of your shirt like a quiet secret. Maybe even a vintage one, slightly scratched, slightly aged, but with a soul. Because, let's be honest, perfection is overrated. Patina tells a better story. A refined man doesn't buy watches to impress. He wears one to remind himself that time, like style, is best when it's handled with care. Every glance at it becomes a lesson. Be present, be precise, be patient. And that's the essence of legacy style. The right watch doesn't tell the world how successful you are. It tells the world you've learned to value what can't be bought back. Because at 50, you don't chase time anymore. You keep it close, and you wear it well. Of all the accessories a man wears, the belt is perhaps the most underestimated. It's quiet, almost invisible, until it's not. And that's the beauty of it. A belt is not meant to stand out. It's meant to hold everything together. It's the invisible line between carelessness and class. At 50, the way you wear a belt says more than you think. It shows whether you've learned the art of proportion, that subtle harmony between what's seen and what's felt. A belt too wide looks forced. Too shiny feels insecure, too loose, careless. But the right one? It completes your frame the way punctuation completes a sentence. Think of it this way. Your belt isn't just holding your trousers, it's grounding your presence. It draws the eye to your center, balancing your posture, your stance, your silhouette. And that quiet detail is what separates a man who dresses to get noticed from one who dresses with intention. At this stage in life, your belt should speak your maturity, with craftsmanship, not complication. Choose full-grain leather, the kind that ages gracefully, darkening slightly with every season. Avoid excess stitching, oversized buckles, or flashy logos. Elegance lives in restraint, Black and brown are your foundation. Timeless, versatile, unpretentious. A black belt for your navy suits, your charcoal trousers, your evenings out. Brown for your beige chinos, your denim, your weekends by the coast. And if you want something with character, try a deep espresso tone or a soft tan. They tell their own quiet stories under the light. But the most important rule, your belt should always match your shoes. Not because tradition says so, but because balance never goes out of style. It's one of those small details that whispers discipline. And discipline, after 50, is the most attractive thing a man can wear. Here's the truth. A belt is more than leather and metal. It's a small symbol of alignment. How you dress mirrors how you live. Pulled together, well-grounded, never in a rush. Every time you thread that belt through your loops, you're reminding yourself, everything in life, even style, holds better when it's balanced. And when a man takes off his jacket, revealing a belt that fits seamlessly into his outfit, no noise, no contrast, no distraction. That's real refinement. It's the kind of detail people may not consciously notice, but they feel it, because the difference between put together and present is often just 2 inches of leather done right. In the end, your belt doesn't have to impress anyone. It simply has to reflect a man who's lived long enough to know that control is quiet and elegance needs no announcement. Wear it not just around your waist, but around your character. If there's one truth every man learns with time, it's this. You can tell everything about a man by his shoes, not their price, not their brand, but their condition, the way they've been worn, cared for, lived in. Shoes are like the first handshake of your outfit. They speak before you do. In your 20s, shoes are about expression. In your 40s, they're about ambition. But after 50, they're about integrity. Because by now, you've walked enough roads to know that where you step and how you step matters. A refined man doesn't need dozens of pairs. He needs the right ones, timeless, versatile, and honest. A pair of leather loafers that move effortlessly between business and leisure. A sleek Oxford or Derby for formal moments, because nothing elevates a suit like a polished shoe. And a pair of well-made boots for those cooler days, where ruggedness meets quiet sophistication. Every man should own shoes that feel like a continuation of his posture, strong, grounded, effortless. When your shoes fit well, everything else follows. You walk differently, you stand taller. You enter a room not with noise, but with presence. Invest in quality, not quantity. Full-grain leather, Goodyear welted soles, craftsmanship that feels deliberate. The kind of shoes that can be resoled, restored, renewed, much like yourself. There's poetry in that idea. Things that last because they're worth caring for. Take care of your shoes, and they'll take care of your reputation. Polish them not for vanity, but for respect. For the small rituals that say, I take pride in the details. Because shoes are never just about fashion. They're about discipline. A man who maintains his shoes tells the world he maintains his standards. And here's the secret. Worn well, aged well, a great pair of shoes becomes a reflection of your journey. Every crease, every mark, a memory. The leather softens, the color deepens, the fit becomes uniquely yours. They don't stay perfect, but they become authentic. And authenticity, after 50, is worth more than perfection ever was. So, choose wisely. Black for formality, brown for warmth, tan for personality. But whatever the color, let them feel like you. Not a costume, not a statement, a signature. Because the truth is, people might forget your jacket, your tie, even your words. But they'll remember how you walked into a room, confident, composed, unhurried. At 50, your shoes are no longer just an accessory. They're an introduction, a story written in leather and time. And when you wear them with care, they'll say everything that needs to be said, without a single word spoken. There comes a point in every man's life when he stops carrying things and starts carrying himself. And that's when the right bag matters. Because a man's bag is more than storage. It's a reflection of order. It says, I know what I need and I bring only that. After 50, that philosophy extends to everything. Your words, your relationships, your wardrobe. You stop collecting, you start curating. Your bag should follow the same rule. No giant logos, no cluttered compartments, no unnecessary weight. Just quiet craftsmanship. Leather that feels firm yet soft, the kind that develops a patina with every journey. Every scratch becomes a memory, every crease a signature. A well-made leather bag is one of the few things that looks better as it ages, like you. That's the beauty of maturity. Both the man and the material develop character over time. Synthetic materials may imitate the look, but they'll never capture the soul. Start with one great piece, a leather briefcase for your daily rhythm. Structured, minimal, sharp. It tells the world you're a man who still values discipline, but doesn't need to announce it. A weekend duffel for short escapes, soft-sided, supple, perfectly worn. It carries the spirit of a man who knows how to slow down. And for lighter days, a crossbody or messenger in tumbled leather. Functional, discreet, effortlessly masculine. The goal isn't to own every style. It's to own the right one. The one that feels like it belongs in your hand, not just your outfit. A man's bag should match his pace. When you're young, you rush. You stuff everything inside, just in case. But after 50, you've learned the value of lightness. You carry less because you've learned what truly matters. That's refinement in motion. Your bag should hold exactly what serves your life, not what slows it down. A notebook, a good pen, your glasses, your essentials. Nothing more. Because what you leave out is just as important as what you put in. And when you walk into a cafe, a meeting, or board a plane with a perfectly aged leather bag in hand, clean, subtle, understated, something changes. People don't see a man chasing time. They see a man in control of it. Every detail speaks. The tone of the leather, the sound of the zipper, the weight of the handle. That's where style turns into ritual. You don't just carry a bag, you carry a rhythm. A good bag doesn't need to match your outfit, it needs to match your life. It should move with you from work to weekend, from city to coast. Like everything else in minimal style, it earns its place through purpose, not trend. And when you set it down at the end of the day, on a desk, on a chair, beside your coat, it looks right at home. Because that's what elegance truly is, when every object around you belongs where it is, and so do you. In the end, your bag isn't there to impress. It's there to remind you that simplicity carried well travels far. True elegance doesn't live in the suit or the shirt. It lives in the details, the small, deliberate choices that reveal the man beneath the fabric. At 50, accessories aren't about decoration anymore. They're about definition. They don't complete your outfit. They complete your story. Start with the watch. A man's timepiece is more than a tool. It's a companion. It doesn't scream status. It whispers reliability. You don't need a collection. You need one that feels like it belongs to your rhythm. A clean dial. A leather strap that darkens with age. Not to tell the time, but to remind you that your time matters. Then, the wallet. By now, it should be slim, simple, and personal. No bulky shapes or worn-out folds filled with things you've forgotten. A refined wallet carries only what counts, like the man himself. When you take it out, it shouldn't draw attention. It should express restraint, because there's dignity in discretion. Eyewear, whether sunglasses or reading glasses, is another quiet form of self-expression. Choose frames that suit your features, not trends. Soft lines, classic tones, timeless proportions. They frame not just your face, but your outlook. And after 50, clarity is the most stylish thing you can wear. The pocket square or scarf, when chosen with care, adds warmth without vanity. A neutral linen square peeking gently from a blazer pocket says more than a bold tie ever could. It's not about flair, it's about finesse. A touch of individuality within the bounds of understatement. And finally, the fragrance, the invisible accessory that leaves the longest impression. Your scent should be like your presence, calm, confident, mature. Notes of leather, vetiver, sandalwood, grounded, timeless, reassuring. Because the right scent doesn't enter a room before you do. It lingers quietly after you've left. Together, these pieces, the watch, the wallet, the eyewear, the pocket square, the scent, are not symbols of vanity. They are extensions of identity. They remind the world and yourself that refinement isn't about adding, it's about editing. What remains, after all the noise, is the essence of who you are. And when you wear these accessories with care, not for attention, but for intention, you become your own definition of style, measured, composed, effortlessly complete. Because after 50, a man doesn't dress to prove he's relevant. He dresses to prove he's present. And presence, quiet, confident, grounded, is the most powerful accessory of all. So, gentlemen, remember this. Real elegance doesn't live in what you own, it lives in what you honor. Every belt, every shoe, every watch, every scent is a reflection of that quiet discipline. Less isn't emptiness, it's mastery. The mastery of knowing who you are and what deserves to stay. If this episode spoke to you, give it a like. It helps more men discover the calm, strength of minimal style. Tell me in the comments, which accessory defines you best today? And don't forget to subscribe to Legacy Style, where experience becomes elegance, and less always becomes more.